Book lovers, Sims players, and everybody in between, welcome to my channel. This is PM Hernandez. I'm an author, I write kissing books, and I play The Sims. As I've mentioned on a couple of previous videos, I have been updating my world save. So this is a save that I use whenever I start a new Sim save. I do a save as of this world and start from there because there are some things in this world that I have purposely put in to make the experience better, to improve gameplay, that sort of thing. So I have been so busy filling in, as you can see here in Willow Creek, all of the houses and going in and, as I say, zhuzhing up the builds that have been here for now, gosh, over 10 years. When did Sims 4 come out? I want to say 2014. It's been a minute. So as you can see here in Willow Creek, it's all filled up, super excited. Same thing with Oasis Springs, all filled up. Put in lot traits for all of the old builds that don't have anything in them, and then obviously filled in some blank spaces here. Like this one is typically an empty lot. I put in essentially a dupe of this build and just kind of updated it, gave it some different colors, that sort of thing. I do some editing of the builds that are already in the game that maybe have toddler and child items, because sorry to all those people who like to play with babies and toddlers and children, I don't. I do occasionally put them as townies in my game, but I don't play with them. If anybody is watching my Very Veggie Legacy Challenge, you saw the struggle that I had with a baby, so much so that the baby grew up, Petals seedling grew up, and she has some like permanent like character identity as having like a difficult, a sad babyhood. It was just like, are you kidding me? So anyway, so here in Magnolia Promenade, I left the old shops that were in here, but I renamed them. I gave them some lot traits, and then gave them a little bit of an update, put new items in there, new functionalities, just to give them a little more life, because if you've ever visited any of those, you'll know that they were quite dead. And like the worst thing ever, I've had a couple of instances where one Sim will call up my Sim and say, hey, you want to go for a date? And they'll go to that really crappy clothiers that was in Magnolia Promenade, and I'm like, dude, you think this is a date? Are you kidding me? It's horrible. Anyway, so with Windenburg, obviously I filled in some of the blank lots. I did leave this one here, Mid Nowhere, empty. Mid Nowhere, if you have, I think this is the Get Together pack, it is a great spot to build, or even to just have a kind of like living off the land type sim. It's out here on the island, lots of collectibles. It's a really great spot. And for some reason, I don't know if others have noticed this in the game, like some worlds have a lot of what I call foot traffic, and then other worlds have like nothing. For some reason, the Crumbling Isle, it has so much foot traffic in the tree line here and stuff. Particularly, I've noticed like bookworm Sims will like walk through there holding a book, and I'm like, I'm a bookworm, and never have I ever picked up a book and just like walked through nature. I mean, I might have a book with me and then I stop somewhere in nature to read, but just like walking around randomly, it's anyway, fun. So yeah, Windenburg is all zhuzhed up, as is San Myshuno. I filled in all of the lots with people. I, again, like updated some of these things. For the parks, you'll notice I put a lot of dog friendly, cat friendly, because then dog and cat owners show up. A lot of times I'll put in teen neighborhood, because then teens will show up, maybe singles hang out, that kind of thing. Forgotten Hollow got a little bit of a scrub as well, but I pretty much kept a lot of these builds. This one I'm particularly fond of. This house is full of a lot of garlic garlands and things like that. So I thought it would be perfect for some vampire hunters. And I downloaded these two from the gallery. So I think that would be kind of just like cool, storyline there. I also created my own Simrest Cemetery, which has all these lovely lots. I think I put for all of the houses here, yes, they are all Vampire Nexus. I have no idea what this character is based on. None whatsoever, Miss Throp. So yeah, this is where if I play a game where the aging is turned on for the unplayed households, and obviously then some of the elderly characters begin to age and die off. And I put them all here so I don't lose them. I go around and pick up their gravestones wherever I can and then put them here. And so you can visit them and, have a good time, hang out together, strengthen their spirit. So yeah, I filled in most of the spots here. And again, just a quick zhuzh. I was shocked that this wasn't cat and dog friendly. I don't think it was. Also, I think the lot traits were way after cats and dogs. And I also put hallowed grounds just because this is where you can find those ghost pets. I left this spot open, Hindquarter Hideaway. I really like this one. I've played this lot a lot with like a farm kind of a feel. I have this farm build. It's like a converted barn. It was the basis for my Very Veggie challenge. So that's like the shell that I use for Very Veggie. And, it's a really cool spot. So I left it open. Where was I? Here we go. Del Sol Valley. So, of course, in Del Sol Valley, I didn't do it for like venue lots, but for all of the houses, they all have Quake Zone. Because obviously Del Sol Valley is based on Hollywood and the LA area, which is an area that I know very well. And it's all a Quake Zone. So even Judith Ward has to have a Quake Zone. I'm sorry, Judith, but you live there, and that's the price of living in beautiful SoCal. On Sulani, I haven't gotten around to cleaning up Muapalam, so that is the next thing, probably the final thing, unless I see other little bits and bobs I have to fix. But I did put in a vacation spot because there was no vacation spot here, and I thought this is a prime world for that, of course. I left Key Point empty. Key Point is in my top 5 favorite empty lots. It's a great spot to do gameplay. I have a spellcaster sim in one game who is living on Key Point, and I just love it. I love to just sit there and listen to the sounds and the people who do like the background sounds on these worlds. If you try to play with headphones, because then you pick up all those little background sounds, and it's just absolutely lovely. There's someone on TikTok, and I don't remember their user handle, but they had this whole gameplay thing where her sim I'm assuming it's a she, and that's on me, got stranded on the island with another sim, and like things progressed, and like they ended up having a baby, but then they get rescued, and it was just this whole like clever storyline. I was all in. I watched every single TikTok video that they posted. So Glimmerbrook got a little bit of a zhuzh, not a ton of work. I did leave Glimmerbrook Watch open because that is one of my favorite spots to play. Lots of foot traffic. So if you do have this pack, there's lots of foot traffic there, lots of collectibles and things. This is a small world, but I really do like it. For Elixirs and Brews, I used a renovation. It's just called Elixirs and Brews Reno, I believe, by Lil Simsy, and it's great. It's what we should have had instead of the sad build that we got there with the pack that had mismatched roofs. Like, how does that even happen? Anyway, and then obviously in Brightchester, lots to work on there. There are some tragic homes there, like this one. I didn't spend a lot of time updating it just because it is okay. I don't play this character a lot. He's a spellcaster. He's just kind of in the world. In fact, one of these houses, I can't remember if it's the Elderberries, the Pleasants, or this house, the front door is not marked as the front door. It's just redonkulous. Anyway, um, editing these student houses was a little bit of a pain because it turns out you can't just hit edit on the building like you can for this one. You have to play. So I had to play as Cameron Fletcher, or at least go in as him to be able to edit it. But because this is, I picture this as more of like a polytechnic kind of a school, there's all these, computer science and engineering students. So I put in a lot of the sciencey items in these builds. Conversely, over here at Brightchester, which strikes me as more of this like traditional Ivy League, you're going to get your, literature degree or your law degree, that kind of thing. And so I put in, different items there. You're there to be, you get like an art degree. So that's what I put like a lot of microphones and easels and that sort of thing. And then moving on to Evergreen Harbor, of course, I had already cleaned up the neighborhoods and gentrified the heck out of them. So we already had this marketplace, we already had this maker space, and we already had this community garden. But I just made sure to fill all of these. On the Greenberg residence, there are a couple of fixes that need to be done if you have this pack. The tower, this is a great build. This is an awesome build, but this tower here, the bathroom, you can't use it because the door placement and everything, someone didn't do a play test on it, but it was easily fixable. And so generally when I fill these worlds or, populate the lots and the empty spaces, I generally put in supernatural sims just because I love to play with supernatural characters. I write science fiction, paranormal, and fantasy, and so that's what I like to do. But I do put in some humans because honestly, who are the vampires going to drain? Now, the vampires need to drain somebody, and they're not draining my spellcaster. No, sir. So anyway, Cement Komarebi, because it was built by Sims, Sim tubers and others from the community, they have awesome lots, no notes. Like I said before, I did update this one a little bit because it had this weird oatmeal color to it that didn't blend in with the scenery. So I changed that one a little bit. I added this build, which is my own build, that's supposed to look kind of like a traditional Japanese home, but I don't know anything about anything, so but I think it's cute, and it's a tiny home. And then up here I threw in rich friends. I love this. So that's like the thought is like these are super wealthy, friends who live in this beautiful chalet kind of a situation. I downloaded this from the gallery. And then of course Henford on Bagley, not a lot of editing needs to be done here. Beautiful builds all around. I did leave 2 Old Mill Lane empty because it is between that and Key Point and Solani. Those are like my top 2. Like sometimes Henford is my favorite, sometimes Solani is my favorite. It just depends what I'm feeling. But I did go through, and if houses had, for instance, like the Watson family had these, and these gentlemen up here, Moody and McMillan, they had things like chicken coops and barns and things, but they didn't have any animals. So I went in and gave them animals, had them plant, like the oversized plants like aubergines and things like that. And then fill these in. So yeah, just to make it a little bit more lively, that sort of thing. Like in the park, for instance, there's a pond and there's a log. So I went in and put in maybe a little few more lily pads. I made sure that all the lily pads and things have frogs hopping on them, and putting in things like the fireflies and the dragonflies. It just makes things seem more alive and realistic. So Tartosa was pretty good. I did have to make some edits to this one because obviously this house here had some children's furniture, and I'm like, screw them kids. And so, and there was a table. There was a table that had a plant on it, but the plant was too big, so no one could eat at the table. It's a glitch I discovered, so I just kind of, took care of that. downloaded some things from the gallery. Here on this beach, I didn't know what to do, so I just made it a beach. I made it clothing optional because I'm awesome. And but it's just a basic beach because I'm a basic beach. Moonwind Mill, no notes. James Turner knocked it out of the park. And so I just went in and like made sure that everybody had some lot traits. I put in some people here, some wolf besties. And I did leave Prowler's Patch empty because it's a great lot to do kind of a grungy rags to riches thing, or like a, you know, you're trying to make a challenge for yourself. Copperdale, didn't do a lot. I added in, obviously, anywhere there was an empty lot. I put a house there. I think like here, there's nothing, little nook or whatever, falls or something like that. For the park, I added some extra stuff just because I felt like it was a little empty. Didn't have a lot going on. And again, cat-friendly, dog-friendly, teen neighborhood, which I thought was appropriate since Copperdale is our high school pack. San Sequoia is one of those neighborhoods that doesn't seem to have a lot of foot traffic, especially if you live in these neighborhoods out here or here. And so they feel a little dead, and that's kind of depressing to me. Since San Sequoia is meant to be, at least in my mind, modeled after San Francisco, which is obviously a super vibrant city. And yeah, that was a little disappointing. So anyway, just filled in stuff here. There are great builds here. You know, Celebration Center, no notes. I think that was Little Simsy. The library, I think, was Deligracy, great one. So, you know, I just filled in the empty lots with a house, and any houses that had no people, put them in. Yada, yada, yada. Chestnut Ridge, I love, especially Red Roan Field over here, so I left it empty. Everything else, again, filled it in, made sure that all the lot traits, there were some lot traits there at a minimum. For some of these folks, they have the stuff to get a horse, but I didn't give them horse. So when I turn on, for instance, my managed households, there are a few folks that will get the ability to adopt a horse. It's not on right now, but I'll turn it on for a few people so they can adopt a horse once I start a new save, for instance. Tomarang needed a little bit of help, not with the builds. The builds were great, the builds that were already there. But again, Tomarang is one of those places that feels a little bit dead when it really shouldn't be. Like, especially like the night market area, you would think, you know, again, I've been to quite a few Southeast Asian countries. And again, in my mind, Tomarang is kind of Southeast Asia. And like markets and things are so packed and like vibrant, and there's people eating and there's people shopping and just hanging out. And especially, you know, if you've ever been to like, you know, places like Singapore where you can take a little boat ride, and, you know, it's just, I don't know, you would expect more Sims, especially in the night market area. So I had to add some stuff in. I decided to put a library here rather than a rental property. All the builds that I found on the gallery were for rental properties, and those are kind of buggy. They slow down your game. I generally don't play them anymore, but I do fill in the folks. Like this one, I filled in Sunghai Point. I put in some folks there. And I left Tam Nang Sands empty because I love this lot. It's like in the top 5. It's beautiful. This is a beautiful world. It's an absolutely beautiful world. And I love, you know, bringing in that kind of Southeast Asia feel. It's because I love that area. And then here we are with the Love Struck world, Ciudad Enamorada, and didn't have to do much. This build here is my own. I'm super proud of it. I put the guy in, his last name is Hernandez, because there's not enough Hernandezes in the world, of course. And so yeah, I just added some folks in. Yeah, Grillo, because I have a crush on an actor whose last name is Grillo, and I love that name because it's fun. So yeah, this is didn't have to do a whole lot, just adding people mostly. Now for Ravenwood, great builds all around. Didn't have to do a lot other than take out some kid stuff because again, we don't play no kids. And I try to put in adults when I'm putting somebody in a new lot. Like if there's already a child that's part of the, like a townie child, obviously I just leave it, right? But I don't add my own children. Sorry. But yeah, so downloaded a bunch of vampires and created some. I left Hay Hill Landing open as well as Mystic Crossroads because those are two really good lots and I just like to have those options available. For Nordhaven, Nordhaven was a little tricky, but took some effort, but it was totally worth it. So for instance here at Inked Inlet, I could not resist creating this sim. I think I named her Karen. Did I name her Karen? What did I did. Her name is Karen Culverson. She has a Karen haircut, and I'm sorry to all those out there with the name Karen. It's just a very easy trope. But she's got like this total Karen haircut. She's a vampire though, and she owns a coffee shop called Morning Rush. So I had to go in and play as her to set up the coffee shop. Same with these artists here. I had to go in and play as them just for a minute to set up the it's an art studio, like art classes and things like that. But yeah, I filled in all of the empty spots. I did leave the New Harbor Park as it was with the game pack. I'm sorry, with the game pack. With, oh my goodness, this was not a game pack. With the pack, so that, for gameplay purposes, I could do whatever I wanted with it. Finally is Newcrest. So, Newcrest is all empty lots, as everyone knows. And it's really tough because I am not like a big builder. Like, give me, like, I'm not a person who wants to go in and like build the world. That's just not me. I'm in awe of people who can do that. So I was thinking with Newcrest and this new Enchanted by Nature coming out, which I'm absolutely buying because I love fairies. I've wanted fairies in The Sims forever. With Sims 3, I bought the Supernatural pack just for the fairies. Like, that's all I wanted. I mean, like the werewolves and the witches and all of that, that was great, but I wanted the fairies. And so I thought this would be like a fairy town. So I'm going to fill in like the houses, the residential things with fairies. Then I tried to download stuff from the gallery that was kind of fairy coded, and I'll update it once we have the pack and I maybe can add some cool things in here. I didn't update my spa. I love this spa. I edited, I think, a spa that came with the Spa Day pack. Like, you got some lots that were available to you. I edited it, but I want to make it fairy coded at some point. But like, for instance, I put in a community fairy garden here, and I had to put in a sim and have her go over and like do the cheat, because you can't cheat it otherwise, to make this a community lot. I thought that was cool, and I'll probably update it once the pack comes out. I downloaded this nightclub. It's underground, which I thought was a really cool build, and it pulls in stuff. I think this is like debug items from Get Together, and just some lots here, which I haven't even edited at all. I just popped them in. A gym. I renamed it Fairly Fit because I thought I was funny. There's a cafe, a little library. So yeah, and this Roman bath is absolutely beautiful. If you go in the gallery, there's a builder, their ID is the September Sim. Oh my gosh, this is an amazing build. I absolutely love it, and I think it's cool for a fairyland. So anyway, that is where I am with my world save. Super excited. I spent yesterday typing up notes that I had for a kind of like a fairy challenge that I'm putting to myself. That would, the sim would have to complete all these certain aspirations, max out certain skills. They start out as a human, and I don't know how I'm going to challenge myself. If the challenge will be, do it in a certain amount of time, like the sim will have a sim year. I use long lifespan, so the seasons are, a little longer. So I thought, maybe, okay, you have to complete all this by a certain time, or complete it before you age up to an adult or young adult. So I'm trying to, figure out how I want to do that. If anyone is interested in seeing my notes, I'm happy to share them with people. Just a fun thing. Yeah, so anyway, I am going to go back to writing book 2 in my Theron series. Um, Super excited about that one. It is all about Seraphina and Kier. And Kier is, everybody gets to know him in book 1, and he's not in the best light, like it's not the greatest. And so hopefully he'll have his redemption arc. Let's see how that goes. But in the meantime, go read a book.